So I'm going to show you how to work on a Saturday and a Wednesday evening with the van, all about it, and the procedure to get there safely and know where everything is. So imagine you're in my drive, you're picking the key up from the lockbox or from me, depending on what the arrangement is. And we're going to go into the vehicle now, so I'm going to show you the procedure from that point. Okay, so obviously we press the button and unlock it. There should be a sign on the steering wheel here. If the vehicle is plugged in, please unplug it, which I'll show you where you do that. If you drive off with it plugged in, it will cost a lot of money to get it repaired. So it damages the inverter and the battery that is here to help the workings of the inside of the vehicle. So I'll take you around and show you where that happens. On the back side, passenger side of the vehicle is this plug. You just pull it out, simple as that. Roll it up and put it away. If you can hang it up, please, so the plug is facing down. So if it rains, water's not getting into the electrics. At that point, you can drive away in the vehicle and take it to the library or the wharf car park, wherever we are stationed. So we're going into the vehicle now. You will see there are big brackets here. Because of the nature of the way the vehicle has been put together inside, we have to have these folding back in order to shut the doors. So you just put them and clip them in place like that. There's a little lever down here at the bottom of the door. Just lift that, and again, there's a hatch here. Push it forward and it will click. Those doors then will not open. If you want to open them wider, you again push the door forward, push it back, and the doors will go back further. But if it's windy, they will blow. So it's probably always important just to make sure that they're clipped up properly. So you get in the vehicle. Here we have lights. So you'll have lights on here. That is the only switch that you need to deal with in this vehicle. The others, please ignore. So the lights will come on. In here you've got everything is needed for a session. So firstly, we'll go through all the inside of the vehicle before we open the hatch. Here we have our first aid kit. This first aid kit carries everything you will need in order to support people with first aid. Most of you will have had some form of training with naloxone, so this is to give people when they have an opiate overdose. If you haven't had the training, please reach out, we can organise that for you. We have had occasions where people have ended up in the river or other things have happened to them, seizures. There are foil blankets in here, and there's various first aid bits and pieces, and there is also information about the naloxone, and there's a first aid book as well. Here is our defib. This is regularly checked, and again we provide CPR training, and if you haven't had it and you would like some support with that, get in touch with me. Fire extinguisher, essential, legal requirement. And we have electrics here. We always have a phone plugged in for a client, so if anybody turns up who's rough sleeping, who needs a phone, you can give them this one, and then please replace it and plug another one in which is in the drawer. Now these drawers are full of items. They are all marked of what's in here. So if somebody who's rough sleeping comes to you and needs something, most of it we should have in here. This is replenished weekly. So flasks for hot water. We even have needle boxes for sharps, as in for people who are users. We have takeaway cups and things like that. We actually have masks still in here, sanitary towels, all that sort of stuff. A lot of toiletries. Again, our clients often need things like this, so they can be topped up. Socks, underwear, towels. If people, we have shower tokens, things like this. By the nature of the fact that we're outside all year round, there is a gazebo down here if it's raining, and under the pot noodles there are weights. Okay, so you'd have to get the pot noodle box out, but there are weights, and there are bungee ropes also down here that, if necessary, you can tie the gazebo to a lamppost or something nearby if that helps, if it's a bit windy. It can come back in wet, that's fine, we can sort it out and dry it out earlier on at the beginning of the week. In this cupboard here you have sliding doors, we have rucksacks, sleeping bags and tents. We have paper towel in here, we have carrier bags. These are all replenished before every session, and this is what we use for people to take their food away with. If we have an issue with the lights or the batteries, for any reason, there are spare LED lights, there are lights hanging everywhere. So particularly in the winter, if you're out for a long time and the lights start to fade or you want a bit of extra light, you've got all that there. We have leaflets. Our leaflets show our session times, there's information, there's business cards from me, Lou and Kate Outreach Worker, to give to people who need extra support during the week, or they need some information about the sessions, and also members of the public, if they often come up and talk to you, want to find out a bit more. There's information about our corporate breakfast club, there's donation QR codes and information on these leaflets. This leaflet's the same, actually, it's front and back of the same. We have safeguarding information. There are posters up around this van. It is really important that you read them, they're there for a reason. All of them have different, obviously, levels of importance and information. We have Loose Ends, who's the other charity, it's a bit hidden here, who support clients with food the rest of the week that we don't. And we have emergency numbers. Now, we have them here too. There's emergency numbers which are around the van. So we have, if a rough sleeper presents to us and you don't know them, there are no numbers for what to do with that person to support them into potential housing, emergency housing, or at least get them in front of the council so they can present and actually tell the local council that they're actually in the area, which is very important. We are not the ending service of people who are homeless in this area. We have to always signpost. It's really important you signpost and keep the information for us so we can work with that the rest of the week. Occasionally there are emergencies, and we do have what 3 words here of the library car park where you are. So if you have to phone the police, and occasionally sadly we do, you've got that information here really clearly. As we walk down the van, we have, for our food provision, as I said, we have please clean everything down afterwards. You've got plenty of cleaning fluid, and you've got black sacks. This water, we don't tend to use it, we have done in the past. You've got plenty of antibacterial spray and things, so please make sure you wear gloves while you're providing the food, and they're available further down in the van. As we move further down, we're now coming into the food area. We have pot noodles, and which are very, very popular. This is always stocked up every week. And we have food here, so we have crisps and snacks, water. We have kettle packs here. If somebody turns up who's in emergency accommodation in a B&B, we have what they call kettle packs, and these are bags of food that, as it says on the tin, that you only use a kettle. So some people can be in emergency accommodation for months and they have no way of cooking anything, so they've got pot noodles, tins of tuna, things like that. As we're moving further down the van, this is set up really for our session tonight, which is a Wednesday, and this is why we've got everything here. But volunteers make sure that there's plenty of snacks to go out with our hot meal. We have coffee cups and food containers to take for people to take food away in. We have our teas and coffees here, and we have a fridge. This fridge has a key on it. Please do not pull the door. Unlock it by the key first, because it damages the lock, and this is an expensive fridge, so please make sure you unlock it and you pull it open. In there you'll have, depending on the time of year, you'll have milk, you'll have water, squash, things like that. If you're doing hot dogs, for instance, you'll have your tomato sauce and your mustards in there. When you're serving your clients, if you run out of soup, which occasionally happens, particularly in the winter months, we have cup of soups up here, we have squash, as I said, we have tea and coffee, we have gloves. We do have plenty of plugs around here, so if somebody wants to have their phone charged, which occasionally happens, you can do that. The battery will take that even if you're not plugged in and you're down at the Wharf car park. The menu is filled out for the meals with the allergens. It's really important that you are aware of the allergens of the food that we provide, and you are very clear that the clients know what's in that food. We do get people with allergens and dietary requirements, so it's important that those communications, those questions are asked, because the last thing you want obviously is people having allergic reaction to something. So please always make sure you're clear. We do have warning signs around, so people, it is their responsibility to ask what is in the food or tell you if they have an allergen, but just always be mindful. We don't put nuts and things like that in food, but again, please be mindful. Your soup cups are here with lids, and your main meal cups are here also with lids. We have plenty of cutlery about. We use wooden cutlery for safety, and also they can be used for takeaway, and there's napkins. We have all our ladles and extra serving equipment here at the back, and we have plenty of paper bags, so if you're having, I don't know, a cake or a muffin or something that needs to go away with a hot meal, you've got plenty of bags up here as well, if you can see. There is spare of everything in this vehicle, so if you run out of tea and coffee, if you run out of cups, if you run out of cutlery, please look. It's marked in all the cupboards. Here, spare cups, lids, cutlery, spare tea and coffee. If it isn't there for any reason, leave us a note, please. One of the most important things that we have to do during a session, we have an orange book here. There's always somebody allocated to stand outside and sign the clients in. And this is important because this gives us an idea of what the demand is and what the requirements are. But also if you give somebody a sleeping bag from the cupboard or a tent or anything, a phone, a flask, please write it down, because it means that we can then replenish it, but also we can keep a record of who's had what. Some of our clients sadly do sell stuff, so it's for us to be just mindful of what's going out to whom and how regularly. This is really important, but it's also a good way for you to get to know the clients, their names. We do have accident forms. If there's an accident form, an accident, anything, there's information in this folder here which we've put together. So if you have somebody that needs some support, there's a folder here that is a comprehensive guide of what is in this local area to help people with self-harm, psychosis, domestic violence, sexual health, depression. There's lots of things, debt, emergency numbers. This has taken a long time to put together, so please look at it and use it, because there's a lot of information here that can help our clients. And it's all about supporting our clients, hopefully to move them forward into a better situation and a safer situation in life. So signposting is important. Again, make notes, write down in the orange book or on a piece of paper, make sure we get it so we know what is going on, and so then we can, the rest of the week, work with the client and hopefully support them and pick them up and work with them as best we can. We do have in here, we do have shower tokens. So if somebody does turn up and needs to have a shower, we do have tokens in here. We also have Greg's card. So if somebody's actually rough sleeping, they can have a Greg's card, and hopefully they don't go out of date too long. They're sort of £5 enough for a coffee and a cake. So please use them, because otherwise they sit there. If you've given anything out, please write it in the book. So all the information is here for you. It is worth looking through. There's accident forms. If somebody comes and wants something, if you can get a consent form, we can't work reliably with somebody unless they've given us consent. So there are consent forms in here, in one of these folders. Again, it's just a question of looking for them. And there's referral forms also for food bank vouchers. So there's all sorts of things in here. And these are regularly updated. So here's a consent form. Some of our clients won't want to do that, but if you get anybody new that comes in, we will need this if they want support from us. We can't do anything without these, unfortunately. It's the sign of the times. When the session starts, so Food will be in here. You've got cauldrons of hot food, flasks of hot water. You can boil a kettle if you run out of hot water, but it does drain the battery, even though this is a camping kettle. But usually you should have enough hot water. We have this big hatch here. You can do it as one person. I'm going to do it on my own just to show you. Please make sure nobody stood behind this. When you open this out, you can either shout or get one of your team members to check. And it's simple. It's just a bit fiddly. You pull this lever here, and there's a little pin, and you can just connect it so it stays open. And you do the other side, and it will pull open. 1, 2, 3. And you put the shelf down. We do use, this is coming really since COVID, but you can imagine a lot of our clients don't wash their hands, so it's a good idea to put this alcohol rub on the hatch, and then they can clean their hands to a certain degree before they eat. This is usually 3 people in here. We will have one person doing tea and coffee, one person doing soup, one person doing main. It can get very busy. If you've got 30 or 40 people queuing up, it's important to keep the line going as quickly as possible, because unfortunately some of our clients aren't always very patient, but they're also very hungry. So there's usually a spare coat hanging up if you get cold. And as I said, most of the stuff that you will come across that you need should be in this vehicle. If it's not here, please tell us. We have our WhatsApp, our van WhatsApp group, session WhatsApp group. You can always put a message on there. During your sessions, Lou, Kate or myself are contactable should there be an issue. Please WhatsApp us or phone us if you are concerned or worried about anything, or you need some advice about something. You know, we are here to help us as and when we can. But hopefully your session will be easy, you've got everything in place, and you should, you know, hopefully enjoy yourself. Right, imagine the session's ended. I'm going to take this hatch down now. It is quite difficult for one person, and for somebody like me who's not particularly tall. So what we have these 2 stools here. If you've got 2 people, it's easier, but again, I'm going to show you with one. Always be careful getting in and out of these steps. And during the session, it's important also to please make sure these doors are shut so people can't get into you so easily. Right. Make sure everything is off. Shelf goes up first. Now, it's really important that one person does not grab one corner and pull it down, because it would dislodge the hatch. And again, to repair that is expensive. So if you're on your own, please do it from the middle. If there's 2 of you, you can do each side. If it's been raining, you will get showered with water, so be mindful of that, and it can gather quite a lot of water. Now, I have a bad back, so this is quite hard work, so you've got to be careful. You literally get hold of it and you put it down, and there is a bite point. There we go. And then you just lock the clips back in place, which are easy. And then the vehicle is safe to drive. When you're driving, these mats are very good for things that are not slipping. So again, anything that could fall off the counter when you're driving that's not stuck, like these are solid, please put it all on the floor in a way so if you have to do an emergency stop, hopefully not everything's going to go flying. So just pack everything towards the front of the back of the bulkhead here, so if you have to brake, it's going that direction. Aprons, gloves, always important to wear aprons and gloves during the session. They will all be clean for you, ready for the next one. And also our little furry friends, we do have dog food in here, but also particularly in the summer, if dogs often arrive with their owners thirsty, we've got water bowls as well. And it's all about helping people, isn't it? So I'm hoping, and thank you for doing this, because I know it can be challenging, but it's also really rewarding. Cheers.